J.T. Crowley is Talking Books. On this show, you'll hear from emerging talent and seasoned veterans from around the world.
Hello everyone, I'm J.T. Crowley. I'm the host of Talking Book Show on Web Talk Radio. And today I have the golden opportunity to chat to Timothy Powell about his children's book, Gilda's and Glen's Geese Nest. Who knows more about the book? That's the author himself. So let's get Tim on to tell us a little about himself and the book. Timothy, would you care to come and join me on the show?
Hello, John. It's nice to meet you.
It's been a huge privilege, Timothy, working with you over the last few weeks to put this podcast together. Yes, this is a children's book, everybody, and it's aimed at 8 to 12-year-olds. And it's a fascinating little story, but I'm going to shut up because the person who really needs to tell the story is Tim. So, Timothy, before we open the book, would you care to say who you are and why you wrote the book?
Yes, I came home. Actually, let me start out with my English classes. I had a horrible teacher in elementary, 7th grade, that I raised my hand up to read out loud. And she only let me read one sentence. And everybody else got to read a whole paragraph. Well, I was discouraged with reading and writing anything to do with English. And then that was in 7th grade. And in my junior year in high school, up to my junior year in high school, I hated English. And I had a teacher in my junior year, Connie Cole, from Grand Ledge High School. She encouraged me to write in a journalism class. I liked that class. And then after I graduated from school, I worked at a big 3 automakers with UAW Learning Center. They taught me English after work. I took classes, and Megan Rubble and Linda Kessler were my teachers. There's 5 teachers altogether, and I started to write my book in 1993. The year prior to that, I didn't take time to write. I saw the nest, and the nest is the same nesting spot every year, and as I was writing it, I sent my manuscript in. I found out that somebody stole my copy deposits from my safe box at a bank. I went to the Attorney General to find out what they could do for me. They didn't do one thing for me. Then when I was really upset. I wrote my book mostly from memory. I had some writing, but it was I was going to use the copy deposit to streamline the story all the way through. Well, in the book itself, the illustrator of my book, Gilda and Glen's Geese Nest, the first title was It's Gathering Time Now. And I changed it 3 times. I didn't know which way to go. So I didn't have the direction. So it took me 25 years to finish my work, literary works of art. It was Gilda and Glen's Geese Nest. And the story starts with Gilda is on the nest, sitting on 3 eggs, with Mimi freely shooting 3 goslings beside the nest, with underneath a twig maple tree. The twig tree is at Timmy's Pond, where I used to live, and I was looking at the nest through my screen door, patio door, and Gilda was plucking some feathers, and she got a quill on her bill, about an inch in front of her eye, and it stayed there a long time, over 20 hours. It stayed there, and emerald greeny heron flies down to the shore of Timmy's Pond, and emerald greeny heron is a bird that I'd never seen before. He had short legs. He looked like a heron, but it was green, emerald green. And I think he is a new breed that I've never seen before. I tried to search it out, and I couldn't find out what kind of bird it was. So I called it emerald greeny heron.
You did. So really, this book really, this is you recalling, what you saw, with the geese nest, from 25 years ago. And, with Gilda, and that's what you've given the character's name, Gilda and Glen. And of course, there were 6 eggs in the nest. So this is you really relating that story that you saw, the geese 25 years ago into this book, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And it also has a message, everybody. There are messages about the environment and how they actually geese protect their young. I'm right, aren't I?
Yes, yes. Emerald greeny heron, he told Gilda, you better pray to one of the blue bees blower to conjure up a breeze to blow her feather away. That took over 20 hours.
Oh, wow.
Eggs 4, 5, and 6 haven't hatched yet.
No, they haven't.
They haven't. And they, first one was Ricky, number 4. And there was the actions of the geese as they hatch. And they relate to their parents, Gilda and Glen, through obedience.
Sure. Timothy, let's take the audience through the book chronologically. So when I look at the illustrations, Timothy, they're bright, they're colourful and cute. And the first illustration depicts a red house, a pond, a tree, a nest with 3 eggs still in it, and the other 3 eggs still to hatch. This is Gilda and Glen's territory that they have established to raise their brood of 6. And geese can be very, very protective of their young ones. So can you tell us what's going on in this first part of the book, backed up by the delightful illustrations by Salvador Capian?
The first illustration, it's the nest sitting there without the parents in it. And they never leave their nest, but the pond is there. I could see the action of all the wildlife on my screen glass door. And it was the twig of a tree had a big part in the story because it was a tiny twig of a tree. And I tried to express to cellular Capion what needs were, but he did a good job. I was communicating online with Capion and not in person. I wish I could have done it in person. I could have showed him what I wanted.
I think
But
he's done a good job, Timothy. No,
he did.
how he's done the illustrations, and they do back up your story. And as I said, everybody, the illustrations they're bright. So you've got the red house here, you've got the tree, you've got the nest with three eggs in it there, the last three eggs that haven't hatched. And then you've got the young goslings heading off to the pond, of course, which is Timothy's pond, your pond.
Yes. Yes. Named it like Trinity Pond because in the complex that I was living in, after I wrote the story, they changed the lease, so I had to move out
Hmm. Aww.
because because they didn't want anybody to write anything. But that emerald greeny heron, you couldn't see his feet.
Let's go to the green heron, everybody. Now, because the story does move on here, and we've got the story of Wendell, the blue wind breeze blower, and Mr. Emerald Green Heron. And it's the arrival of, in this part of the book, we've got the arrival of the fourth gosling, Ricky.
Yes.
And it's a very, very sweet scene. So, can you tell us very quickly, Timothy, what this scene is about?
In the natural, I think there's a big man in the sky.
There is a big man in the sky.
Yes, I know. And to me, it tells the kids that there's always somebody watching, and watching and taking control of letting us have control, but always be aware of the watchful eye in the sky. And he blows that feather down right in time because the twig of a tree are we at the Trinidad goldfinch and Trinidad Frederick, and I didn't write the names down.
Oh,
Frederick, Trinidad, and well, the goldfinches were in the tree,
mm.
and they were mocking Mother Gilda Goose, the feather on her bill, and it tells everybody that don't belittle anybody. It's good family values in my story.
Yeah, because the first three goslings are called Mimi, and then you've got Freely, and then you've got Shuli.
Yeah, Mimi, Freely, and Shuli.
Yeah. And now we've got Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky.
Two more to go, everyone.
Yes.
And when you look at the wonderful illustration there, you've got the old man in the sky above the red house and the pond and the garden. Yes. The story here, everybody, is really, really very good for 8 to 10-year-olds. And as I said, the illustration really does back it up. Timothy, I have to say, the story of the four goslings, yes, jostling for position. So we're moving on a little bit down the book here, everybody. I found it lovely when I looked at the illustration. Here we've got the four goslings. We've got Shuey, we've got Freely, we've got Mimi, and now Ricky. And they are eagerly awaiting the arrival of the other two. And they're scrambling into the nest because it's now coming to night time, it's getting a bit cold, so they're scrambling in and they're having a bit of a wobble between them, and then they're trying to get out.
Oh yeah.
What's this little story about? You've done this very, very well.
This they were wrestling, trying to get out of the nest, and Freely fell back on his back, and he was flapping his wings and kicking his feet, and he he was trying to get up. He couldn't get off his back, and it was so cute. I saw Mimi nudge him up around his neck and help him up. It was really, really touching. I had to put that. I mean, it was so cute. And then Ricky says, I owe you a favor, Mimi, you know. And then she said, you owe me a favor. And then Freely says, I think you need two favors. I had a stick poking me in the back, and I couldn't get up.
And because the story here, everyone, is so we've got the four goslings in the nest, and Gilda is sitting on the nest, and of course Glen is the male goose, and it's vital that Gilda gets the last two eggs to hatch, because if they don't, they'll perish, and that's
Yes.
the little message here. And of course, the four goslings are, urging, keeping the eggs warm as well, urging them to come along. I'm right, aren't I?
Yes, yes. It was right on time. Every action I wrote about, I've seen, and I put it on paper so people could actually try to see it through my words. This book is so important to me. It took 25 years to write this, and I didn't have any direction. But now I found a direction. Changed the titles 3 times. It's kind of like a glitch in my part with the copyright, because it's not copywritten. But as Gilda, it's Gosling time now. It's copywritten. Action is copywritten, and I didn't have money. I didn't have the money to have a copyright on it.
I have to say, Tim, considering you had no gardeners, you've done a very good job here.
Okay.
And now, everybody, the fifth gosling has appeared, and this gosling was named by Gilda, and she's named her fifth gosling Lucy. And the story around there's one illustration here is beautifully done. And you've got the five goslings all spreading their wings. They are about ready to, flee the nest. But in the nest is one egg left.
Yeah.
Mm.
What happened was they Gilda and Glen takes their goslings down to the pond and swim across the pond. And shortly after that, they came back. I've seen broads with geese, 15, 16 goslings. I don't think a mother could have that many at one time.
15, 16?
Yeah,
Wow.
15. So I think they adopt them out, but they came back for the last one in the egg.
They did.
And yes. Then it was nighttime. And then in the morning, there was one gosling on the nest with father and mother Gilda at the side of the nest. So they came back for the egg, and they, in fact, uh, one time she rolled it out and rolled it back in, the egg. I didn't write that in the story. I forgot about that. But uh, she, they hatched the egg. They had to because they were on the nest. Mikey was on the nest.
Yeah, and
And
Mikey, everyone, is the sixth gosling.
Mikey's the sixth gosling.
Mm.
And then it goes into the first flight of Mikey because the other five already drafted out.
Yeah, and the other five had fled to the nest. So Mikey was left because he was, very late hatching.
Right.
Development was a little slower, everyone. But I think Mikey, Timothy, there's a special relationship between Mikey and Glen, the father, because
Yes.
it's just the two of them, and they have
Yes.
a wonderful relationship until Mikey fledges.
Yeah.
Did you do that deliberately? Set the story up like that?
Yes. Yes, I did. The way they communicated was something like I can relate to.
Really?
You know,
Hmm.
yeah.
In what way?
In what way I can relate uh, my father talking to me uh, and trying to get me to do things in a better way. I had to watch other geese land in the first flight. Uh, I I wrote down what I saw when they landed, and I didn't actually see them take off, but I can imagine all wobbly and everything else until you get their wing muscles stretched out.
Oh, it is, because one of the last illustrations, everybody, is it's a silhouette, and it's of, I don't know, it's Gilda or Glen, and then you've got the heron there, and it looks like a nighttime one because then you can see the V shape of all the goslings and the other friends and families of the geese flying from the
Yes,
Osprey.
victory flight.
Mm.
Uh,
Did you enjoy writing the book?
yes, I did.
I know it took you 25 years, but did you enjoy it?
I enjoy it so much. It it brings back memories from. See, I don't still have the copy of deposits. Get the what I wrote down totally, but I had to take out some that is too lengthy, uh, and I enjoy writing so much. Uh, I can imagine. Can you imagine here you're young Gosling, uh, almost at Gander age, and you're going up in the air, and then you find yourself, now we're up here. How do we get down?
Mm. I think this book, everybody, is yes, it's a book about, the six goslings and Glen and Gilda. Yes, it's a little bit about teaching youngsters, between age of 8 and 10, how to respect the environment, and particularly when you've got, a nesting pair and they've got young, to be very, very careful around them because they'll be very protective, yes, and they will actually go for you if you go too near. So give them plenty of room and space. But the book, I also think, is a little bit of Tim himself because he's telling you about things that happen in life, not just to the geese, but relating them back for the children, to life in general. And I think he, Timothy, is Mikey, the last gosling. That's why he put it in there, because it's his relationship with his father.
Yes.
I'm right, aren't I?
Yes, you are. Before we go, uh, can I speak?
Yeah, so you have another book that you want to talk about. Let's bring
Yeah,
that in. You want to
this
bring
book
that
by
in?
Gilda and Glen's Geese. I'm going to donate money to save the whales.
Really? Okay, fair enough.
A good earthly charity. I need to do that. And this is my book,
This is your other book, yeah.
Grandma Goes to Work.
What's that about?
It's about my life as working as a farmhand in the loft of baling hay. And it comes down to respecting the farmers, thanking them for all the produce we eat every day. And that means something to me. It, it, I think it's a well-written book. And I like both books. I'm not prejudiced.
Yeah, you see, everyone, the books really are, as I said, they're for youngsters, 8 to 10, and they're great books for grandparents or parents to sit and read at night time to their children, and for kids to look at the illustrations. But there's a little message behind them, particularly, as I've already said, respect the geese. But even in the second book that Timothy has just briefly touched upon, it's the story of himself told through animal caricatures on the farm where he grew up. It's wonderful. I have had a glimpse at it. It's another wonderful little story. And if we can get some books sold, that'd be extremely grateful. And because then we can put the money towards saving the whales, which is very, very much needed.
Yes, I know.
So what's next, Tim? Any more books coming?
Yeah, I have 3 ideas I want to start out with. I gotta get a computer first. I need a computer. My computer crashed, and such as some pickings I have right now. I'll get there. When I write something, when I get an idea to write, I write whole. I don't like stopping when the juice is slow. I get to the point of no return. I can't stop.
I just want to summarize here, everybody. So Timothy's book, Gilda and Glen's Goose Nest book, is absolutely a must read for youngsters. They're thoroughly going to enjoy it, depending on their reading ability. And of course, it's a great read for grandparents or parents just to spend a little bit of time with their kids, especially at bedtime, just to read a simple little story about geese. But as I said, there's an underlying message. And so let's hopefully that we can get some books done for Timothy so that he can raise some money for the Save the Whale. What a proud issue that is. And I'd just like to say I've been working with Timothy now over the past few weeks to put this podcast together, and it's been a great privilege to work with him. And it's I hope that he continues to write and that we will see some more books from him. Hopefully.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much, John.
I'm JT Crowley. Thanks for listening wherever you're in the world. Until next time, stay safe.